Should I wear a hat? Do I look stupid?
I thought you were gonna wear a hat.
I should get one, huh?
It's just really long. It's fine. It just looks like a...
Whatever.
I'll wear a hat. Go get a hat.
All right.
He's getting a hat.
Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. We're in Indiana, and today we're brown bagging it. What do you got for me today?
I got a lot of good stuff for you today. Julie and I are giddy. See, I've been staying with my folks. She's been staying with hers. And so we were finally back together. But a few days ago, I went on a little whiskey shopping trip with my brother Joel. And you're probably clicking on this video going, it says whiskey hunt or whiskey haul or something like that. People don't click on videos that say whiskey shopping trip. So I apologize if you're let down, but we did get some whiskeys, and you're going to get a bonus tasting of 2 of those whiskeys today. I'm excited to share what we got. We visited 4 different stores, I believe. Yes, 4 different stores, and we picked up things at 2 of them, and I'm showing some B-roll right now. In one of the stores, I just found the pricing to be really strange. In the other store, I saw their special glass case full of things that were radically more expensive than they should have been. So I just don't buy whiskey from places like that generally, but the 2 stores that we did go to, I think they really paid off. Super excited to share what we got, and I should share that the focus of this whiskey shopping trip, hunt, haul, whatever you want to call it, was to purchase whiskeys made in Indiana, produced by Indiana distilleries. Proud to say that I managed to do that on 2 out of the 3 bottles that I picked up. I'm holding this behind Julie right now so she can't see. It's a total surprise. This first bottle actually doesn't come from Indiana. It comes from Kentucky, but I will say it's the first time that I've actually seen it on a shelf. It's always in the back. I always have to ask for it. Found this one on the shelf. My hat is so low I can't even see the camera right now. Found it on the shelf, and this comes to us from Holiday Liquors.
Ooh.
Big fan of this store, and they actually know who we are. Isn't that fun?
Oh, I love that, yeah.
So hello, Holiday Liquors. If you are not familiar with them, if you're from the Cedar Lake, Indiana area, you should know that on the 8th, I think it is, they are going to have Hard Truth there,
yes,
who we are fans of, and they're going to be signing bottles, I think, and talking about their new releases, and they have a ton of Hard Truth there, so go check it out. But the bottle that we scooped up off the shelf, check that out. Wild Turkey Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary release. This is the 8-year aged 101 proof beauty that we loved so much.
Oh, I was getting really sad because everyone wanted to drink it, and I was like gonna be a little stingy with it because I wanted to keep it for myself, and now we can just share the love for everybody.
Yeah, everybody gets to try some, and it was on the shelf there, and $49.95, $50 is what this should be. If somebody's trying to sell it to you for more than that, tell them, what would Jimmy Russell do? He'd be upset with that person, and they would immediately go on the naughty list. It's November now, so that's what we're doing. We're talking about Christmas time bottles already. If you can find this one, I think it would make a great gift as well. We're not going to taste it. If you want to know what it tastes like, go visit our tasting video for this whiskey, which I'll link it somewhere around here. It was just a couple videos ago. It's easy enough to find it. You know how to use the internet. The next bottle that I have to share is, if you're a craft beer fan, I think you're going to recognize this name pretty quickly. You're going to know a lot about the brewery. I don't think you're going to know anything about the distillery.
How different would that be from any other day?
Not super different. I love this label.
Ah!
3 Floyds Distilling Company, born out of the brewery in Munster, Indiana. You know, this is one of, when we lived in the Midwest here, one of our favorite breweries, and one of the beers that we loved so much, Bubblegumhead. This whiskey is distilled from the same wheat that they use at the brewery to make their Bubblegumhead beer, one of our favorites.
Nice.
The reason I gravitated toward this, besides the fact that I just always loved their beer, and I thought, well, if they're putting out good beer like that, then they must be putting out great whiskey, is that this isn't just a straight malt whiskey. It's not just a mash bill of 75% barley malt, 22% malted white wheat, and 3% Munich malt, which is a crazy mash bill for a whiskey. What I loved about it is that it says bottled in bond. And I love the idea that they've already got something that's aged for 4 years. I'm so excited by this whiskey, and I got it for $46 before tax. That's a beautiful price to pay for something like this. Love the label. And here's your bonus tasting. I have 2 of these poured, and we're going to get to try this. Here's the notes that they give you. Aromas of vanilla, marshmallow, and honey, which carry through to smooth, harmonious flavors of toffee, caramel, and warming spices. A tribute to the legacy of our brewery, Bubblegumhead is a whiskey of distinctive character and a character of distinctive independence. This is batch number says 5, and then it says number 3. Regardless, there's a couple of batches of this that have been released, and I cannot wait for you to taste this one.
I am excited. We love Three Floyds. I didn't even know they had a whiskey. It sounds delicious. All tasty notes that I like, so
Yeah.
I'm anxious to try it. And bottled and bond. Nice job, guys.
Absolutely. Can't wait for you to try this one. By the way, these are open because, like I said, Julie and I, we've been staying at separate places for the last few nights. So since we got these bottles, I thought, well, I better open them and make sure they're good before I present them to Julie so that she'll be happy. That's the excuse, and now I'm sticking with it. Special tasting glasses today. Aren't these nice? These are hand-me-downs from Julie's grandma. Isn't this fantastic? Aren't they beautiful?
These are beautiful. I remember my mom sent me photos and was like, would you guys want these? And you just kind of say yes because we love glasses. But I just got to my first glimpse of them. They're all shiny and clean, and I could be obsessed with them.
So excited for this whiskey. Excited to drink out of these gorgeous glasses. And cheers to Grandma. What a lovely little sound that was.
Oh, I'm supposed to nose the glass. I got
You do
real
whatever
excited.
you want. There's no rules. It's the
When-
Bourbon Van. We do everything a little bit out of order around
When I say
here.
cheers, I just want to go right in. It does smell lovely, actually.
Yeah, the marshmallow note was a good tasting note. Whose dog is that?
Not mine. Oaky, a little vanilla, a little caramel on the nose. Gosh, it smells like bourbon.
It's a little beer-like, and I really like that. It's the type of whiskey that smells a little bit farmy, but it has rich, decadent vanilla and almost creme brulee notes on the nose. I think it's time to sip this thing.
Yeah.
You want to cheers again, just to see if it makes a different sound this time?
Oh,
Beautiful.
get into that. It's a hefty glass, too.
It is.
Ooh. Cherries, kind of light, like light on the palate, like light on the tongue. It feels almost a bit summery, like it's cooling.
It's easy going. That is
Easy
for
going.
sure.
Yeah. What's the proof on this?
100 bottle
Oh.
bond product.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, you know when they say there's never any dumb questions? Dumb questions.
Sometimes there are. There is some honey here. There's a little bit of spice, but really not much. There's a ton to like and very little not to like. But I will say this about it. I don't think that this is a whiskey for everyone.
Oh, okay.
I think about over the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing a lot of whiskeys with my dad. He loves bourbon. He loves the richness of bourbon,
Yeah.
the decadent vanilla oak. He loves that sort of thing, especially the brown sugar notes. I've given him some other things that were not bourbon that he was not a big fan of. Surprisingly, one thing that he did like was a peated American single malt
Yeah,
whiskey.
that was strange. I love
with
it.
an ice cube in it. And he loved that earthiness. I don't know. But I do think that this is a whiskey that does have some powerful flavors to it, but it's appealing in so many different ways that unless you are just so set in your ways that you only want to taste a specific flavor of whiskey, I think that there's something for everybody here. It really does hit my palate beautifully. Dry, got my mouth watering out here. I love the flavors that are in this glass. It doesn't coat like crazy.
Right.
The finish doesn't last forever, but the honey is what's prevailing here. That and the vanilla. Nice way to end a sip.
I actually wasn't sure where you're going to go with that because as you were talking, I kept thinking like, oh, I think this could be for everyone. And that is where you finished off on this one. Because I don't know why I was getting a little off the road. Usually that's me doing that. But I agree. I think the flavors are really light. They're really enjoyable. There's nothing, bitter or off-putting about this.
no bitterness at all.
It screams bourbon to me. The tasting notes had that marshmallow, which whenever I taste marshmallow, I always think burnt.
Yes.
And that's not at all what this is. Like, if there's marshmallow flavor here, it's more like
Fresh
you get
marshmallow.
it right. Yeah, you get it out of the package. Like, that's pretty light if that's
Yeah.
a tasting note. It's not something that I'm particularly getting, but I do get just a little bit of spice, but not like your crazy heavy rye spices or baking spices. It's just enough to add interest. I really like it, and I agree with you. Not a super long finish, but very enjoyable.
I'm thrilled that you liked this. Honestly, when I first tried it, I thought this has got a little bit of a farm note to it. Maybe she's not going to like this at all, but there's a beery
Getting
quality that comes through here.
yeah.
I think that mash bill is unique. I think
I
it's
like this.
flavorful. So, yeah, is this a try? I think absolutely.
I agree, and especially at that price point, $45. I think you said.
46, yeah, somewhere in there.
I think it's a definite try. I think it's really enjoyable. If you like bourbon, You're going to like this.
I think so too, yeah. A lot to like. And one other thing to keep in mind, I did look online to see what people were saying about this before I purchased it. And, you know, I was so excited. I see the brand name behind it, and I just wanted to try it so badly. And there were some comments on the earlier batch or batches that maybe weren't super positive. I don't know if that's because earlier batches maybe weren't bottled in bond, maybe they weren't aged very long, or whatever might have been the case. I think this is a distillery that's probably coming into its own and producing something that I think is fantastic here. They did have other things on the shelf, but when I see bottled in bond, I go for it, and I'm so glad that I pulled the trigger on this one. The price is right, the flavors are right, definitely worth a shot. I want to pair that with a gumball head at some point and see how it stacks up. I'll bet it's delicious.
Yeah, I haven't had one in a long time. To be honest, I haven't. Years. Probably 10 years or more.
Probably.
We don't see a lot of 3 Floyds in Oregon, if at all.
Yeah. All right, the next one is a bottle we've had before. Lake Liquors, Cedar Lake, one of my favorite places to go, and an Indiana distillery that is just a classic for us. We absolutely love them. Starlight Distillery, Carl T. Huber's. This is a single barrel. Our friend Rick at Lake Liquors introduced us to this a couple of years ago, and I can't believe it's still on the shelf. This is bourbon whiskey finished in Scotch whiskey barrels. This is spit it out. This is 111.2 proof, aged 4.5 years, and yeah, finished in Highland Scotch whiskey barrels. Let's see if there's any other information on this. Finished in a used Highland Scotch cask for several months, this finish adds notes of bright fruits, nuts, and smoke that complement the characteristic flavors of our flagship bourbon. We love you, Starlight, and maybe very soon we should come to your distillery and camp overnight for a night, because I know you're a Harvest Toast,
Yes,
and
we are.
love Harvest Toast locations. Well, I got this one poured up, 111.2 proof, aged 4.5 years. The reason I saved it for last is because it does have a peaty, smoky, scotchy presence on it.
Yeah.
I look for interesting things like that these days on my bourbon. I can't help myself. Just notice that the sun is coming through my hair
Looks
back
beautiful.
here. And
Yeah.
It's looking worse all the time.
So I'm wondering if this is a bit like your love for McCarthy's.
Maybe.
You keep talking about it, you keep telling everyone to buy it, and then nobody does, and you're like, fine, if you're not going to drink it, I'll just go to my local store and keep picking it up month after month.
I can't help myself.
Yeah,
No, Lake Liquors has a lot of good-looking single barrels over there. I could have bought so many things that were in this store, but this is a $70 bottle that I knew that I liked. We finished this bottle, we purchased it last time we were coming through here, I think 2021 or 22. Yeah. It was gone by the time we got home, and we were only gone for another 30 days after we picked it up. So this was a bottle that I absolutely loved, and I actually don't remember your thoughts on it. So
I don't either.
Let's check out the nose on this one.
Can I smell yours?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there something wrong with your glass?
No, I was just wondering if it's like really clean. Like I'm getting like a lot of citrus, like almost like fresh herbal citrusiness. So it made me think like I'm expecting peat and I'm expecting, single malt and I'm expecting those notes and I'm not getting that. So I was like, maybe the glass is just extra fresh.
You're right about those tasting notes. But I will say that underneath there is that earthy, peaty presence. It's not smoky, really. It's very gentle, very nice. You want to smell it again and just see?
Well, I'm just wondering if like the downside to these very beautiful tasting glasses is that maybe I'm not getting the full nose on it.
That's a possibility. Would you like to cheers again? I just want to hear the sound. Oh, okay, a little
it's just
different.
So lovely. Just like today's beautiful day.
Gorgeous day.
Man, I'm getting all the same things that I got on the nose. I was expecting, because it's finished in a single malt or a peated barrel, right?
Yep.
I was thinking it would be a little smoky, it'd be a little peaty, really, and it's just kind of light.
Yeah, the intensity is not here. It was on
Not
night
intense.
one. When I first opened it, that fresh crack, it was pretty spicy. It was pretty intense. But a couple days later, the oxygen is doing its thing, and this is a very mild, lovely sip. To me, this is an elevated bourbon whiskey. I think it's fantastic. There's, again, for 111 proof, not spicy at all. It's not offensive at all. I feel like I could drink this all night and be quite happy with it. If you put an ice cube in here, I think it would stand up very nice to that. For my dad and other folks who like to drink with an ice cube in their whiskey, nothing wrong with it. And this one really coats, clings to the palate. The finish is where I get some of those peaty notes. There's almost like a vanilla coated, I don't want to say mushroom, that's not quite right, but there's a vanilla coated dirty something or other that I actually enjoy a lot. You just walked out to your John Deere in the barn and you pulled the cover off of it and some dust kicked up, and that, yeah, there's some of that around, absolutely. But I like that sort of taste of sweet bourbon with the sort of farmhouse dustiness that comes along, and I don't know if that's coming from the Scotch or not, but what I do know is that Highland Scotch whiskey barrel is imparting something very lovely here. It's really enjoyable. There's a lot to like here too. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, two things on this.
Yes.
One, I feel like the detriment to these glasses, I'm not 100% sure how to handle them. I feel like it's like tea, like my finger's supposed to be out, like my pinky. Like it's supposed to be a little dainty drinking out of these. But two, I think this drink in particular is for more of an elevated palate, because even for someone like me who's been drinking a very long time, I'm not getting all of the notes that you're talking about. And when you said maybe I'll throw an ice cube in it, I go, I kind of want to do that, not to like tamp down any bitterness or proof point or anything like that, but just sometimes that drop of water just adds so much, like opens up all those flavors. And as you were describing it, I was like, I want to feel those flavors. I want to drink those flavors, and I'm not getting them here. So it's just a difference in palate, difference in, whatever.
Yeah,
but
you did eat a Reese's peanut butter cup not too long ago. I haven't had one of those today. Maybe that's the trouble.
I did do that. I did do that.
Well, I think this is delicious. I think it's perfect for this season right now. Fall
Nice and crisp.
In the Midwest, crisp. Yeah, lovely. I think it'd be great around a campfire. I'm loving this.
I did take just that final sip, and I got a little bit of that peat that you were talking about on the finish, and maybe I just needed to get back into the bourbon drinking zone.
Oh, well, there you go. Julie's in the zone. I think that's a win. That's a triumphant finish to this video from Northwest Indiana. Thank you so much for joining us. Have you tried any of the whiskeys from Three Floyds Distilling Company? What do you think about Starlight? Do you like their Scotch whiskey finished stuff? I hope you do, because I sure do. From wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's a beautiful day to drink whatever you want to drink.